Kezia Gill.
You'll just go, and the back door. So it felt weird to do it with someone in the room. Yeah.
And I'm Jade Helliwell.
Got my little Chevrolet. I take it to Mackie's, Asda.
And you're listening to Do You Know Any Oasis? A podcast about two women trying to make an independent career in the music industry.
I know you write your own songs and everything, love, and they're good and everything, but do you know any Oasis? Episode 3.
Still going strong.
Still here for it. If you came back yet again, thank you. If you're new, welcome.
This is basically a podcast of myself, Kezia Gill, and Jade Helliwell, and we are just talking about our experiences in an independent music industry.
Music.
We say independent, there's no big label. There's no, we have small teams around us, don't we, that we work with, but it's, it's a big industry, and we just thought there's a lot to cover.
Yeah,
a lot of ground
that goes
to cover.
on, I think, that a lot of public perception, if you're not, Ed Sheeran selling out arenas and number one, then you're not working in the music industry. I think a lot of people think if you're not signed to a big deal with a record label, then you're not a music artist kind of thing. They're trying to don't understand there's all different levels of it and all different jobs.
And that's the thing,
in
I
the
think
industry. And
people either think that you're Ed Sheeran and selling out Wembley, or you just do a bit in your bedroom.
Yeah.
just do you know what I mean? Just, I do a bit. But actually there's a whole grey area in the middle where I think we fit somewhere in that.
Yeah.
Which is what we're going to talk about today.
Yeah.
Making music.
The actual
The nitty-gritty
music part. Yeah. The creative side of it.
Not necessarily the fun part for me. I actually find this the worst bit.
Really?
Yeah.
See, I think I prefer performing live to obviously recording, but I love the writing process and I enjoy the recording and stuff, but I'm never quite happy with my vocals.
No.
Like never, because it's a different kind of thing, and it's singing in a little box room to singing on a stage and feeding off people's energy.
Definitely.
But I like getting the song to be able to then take it to the live shows, you know what I mean?
Well, let's break it down, because again, we're just talking about it as a process, but it's very much a stage, isn't it?
Definitely.
So let's go for you, like the idea.
Yeah, so I will start off normally with a little hook in my head. It might be like, part of the chorus, the melody and lyrics will come together, or sometimes it'll be just the melody and I'll kind of just sing whatever over it and think, once I got that hook, I'm like, right, what is the song about? What's the story? And then either, a lot of times I've messaged you and like the other night, like, I've got this song, we need to write it together. Like you just know like this person will be great to write on this song with, and then set the co-write, or if I'm writing on my own, and break it down to finishing that chorus, and then right, what does verse 1 need to say? What's this character feeling and doing? Blah, blah, blah. Where are we in verse 2? What's happening in the bridge? And like build it from that way up. That tends to be how I write.
Do you
more.
have a preference with like co-writing versus writing alone?
No, I mean I love co-writing because I think it pushes you to rethink stuff that maybe I'd let through the net if I'm writing just on my own. I might think, I can't really think of anything, another way to say that, but that's okay, so I'll keep it in. But if you're with someone else, they'll be like, no, let's look back at that, and it pushes you to question everything and get the best result.
I think I always felt like a sticking point with co-writing, because I had some really bad co-writes.
Yeah.
And for anyone that doesn't understand, like so co-writing is basically where you get two or more songwriters in a room and you all bring something to the song, albeit it might be someone's sort of more into the music side of it, more into the melodies and the hooks, and then you've got more writers on it, but it's very much team effort.
Yeah.
And a lot of the big hits that are coming out in Nashville, some of them have got 5, 6, sometimes 7 songwriters on the credits, and you think that's pretty amazing.
Yeah. My mind thinks like, how did you get a word in edgeways in that situation?
Well, they say, don't they? Add a word, get a third.
Exactly.
That's the way to do it. But for me, it was a total opposite. So I've been writing, as we've previously discussed, since I was a lot younger, and it's always been a very solitary process. It's been very personal. Something that I do at kind of crazy hours of the day, quite often during the night. Always been a night owl. So the idea of co-writing, it was a bit like, exposing myself.
Yeah.
I was like, I don't know if I can ever let anyone into this thing that I do on my own. Because as well, for a long time, it was almost like a therapy vibe for me. It was like, I'm going to write, like journaling.
Get it out.
So it felt weird to do it with someone in the room. Use that as a soundbite.
Context.
But obviously, like through doing it, and what's great is writing with people like you, like my friends, and I feel like I can show that vulnerable side of me. But it's sometimes quite hard if you're writing with someone and it's perhaps going in a direction that you're not really feeling. It's hard to turn around and go, I don't like that. Yeah. I don't like what you've just contributed. That's hard.
I think the only way I've gotten to a position to think like I want to say like, oh yeah, I wouldn't really say that, because it's got to be authentic to you. If I'm going to release the song that we're writing, we need to be using phrases and words that I would say. There's no point in me talking about riding around in a pickup truck and stuff like that. And it can be hard to speak up and say, nah. I mean, I've got my little Chevrolet. I take it to Mackey's, Asda.
Can't even drive
feeling brave, I might take it down a dual carriageway, but hell no to the 62.
No, so it's got to be authentic, hasn't it?
And I think the only way I've got comfortable doing that is just by doing loads of co-writes. Yeah. But like you say, at first you'd sit and I'd come out and then you'd think, I probably never play that, because I felt like I didn't want to make it awkward by saying, but like even on the other side, I am so much more comfortable with someone saying to me like, no, I don't really like that. Yeah. I wouldn't say that. I'm like, sweet, we don't say it then.
You kind of got to be polite, but also assertive, so you get the product you want.
And I think you've also got to have an agreement of like, we're not taking offence in this, 3 hours together. We're not taking offence at someone saying, like, you can't get off and go, I didn't like it.
Well, I've written with people and I've come away feeling like I am a terrible writer.
Yeah, see, no, you need to be able to come away and think, I stood up for myself and I like what I've come away with.
This is where I've had the bad experiences.
Yeah. But the more co-writes you do, the more you'll feel like you come out and you're like, yep, like
well,
that.
Listen, I came away from our write. And I was like, I need to up my game, because while I was trying to think of another word for something, you'd written verse 2. But again, so here's a classic example, and I'm sure we won't mind me shouting them out. Eric Pasley, we toured together with the Shires, and we managed to get time to write. Yeah. And he is a very vocal writer. Yeah. So even before he has the words, he'll hum nonsense.
Yeah, I've got a lot of co-writes.
And it's like, I don't know whether it's perhaps something that's actively encouraged in Nashville, where there's the huge writing scene. So you might have a tune for the line, but you've got no words. So instead you'll just go, in the back door, and because it needs to ride with forevermore or whatever. Yeah. And I'm like, are we just humming? Whereas I'm a think writer. Yeah. So I will sit in silence for 10 minutes. Yeah. It's all going on in my head. But I probably look like I'm having like a vacant moment. Like I've zoned out completely. So you put those two people in the room, it doesn't really work. And I love Eric to bits, but we wrote 2 lines in our co-write. Yeah. And it's like, we got to finish this song. I don't know if I can ever write.
I think when I first started, so I was like, I'd take my notepad everywhere. And I was the same, like I'd sit in silence and be like, don't speak up until you've completed a verse. Yeah. And I think that's how I kind of started learning how to write a bit quicker, because otherwise, by the time I've got this verse, they'd already moved on from the idea that I've been working on. Yeah. The co-writer's already like, oh no, I didn't like that, let's shit. And I'm like, oh, well, now this don't fit. I'm back into my silence and my notepad. Yeah. I upgraded from my notepad to get a Mac. Luke was like, you got to stop taking your notepads everywhere. Let's get you a Mac.
But you see, I'm old school. I like writing. But again, because it's a very quiet process and it's all very inward, I do still favour writing alone. Yeah. I mean, we've agreed, we've set up some rights, and I know that
I like to say when you find that comfort,
I have a safe space of people. And I've actually started, and again, this is like sort of how ideas can develop. I don't know if you could call it co-writing, but I bounce ideas off Lloyd, who's my husband. Never, like, I'm sure, again, he won't mind me saying, not really a literary guy. He's more hands-on, more practical.
There's no that man can't fix.
There's nothing he can't fix.
I said to her, you better count your blessings every day that you're married to that man, because there's not a problem he can't solve.
She's like, I've got a bathroom window that's not opened in a year.
Honestly, I have a list of DIY. No, you are sorted.
It's so practical. But on the flip of that, if I come to him with a song concept, it like goes completely over his head. But what's really nice is talking to someone like, I don't want to say like Lloyd, just maybe that needs a bit more of a literal idea.
Yeah.
You know, and he'll say like, I'm missing the point, that I don't get it. And then it makes my writing maybe less cryptic.
Yeah.
So I can say to him, if I sing this line, it's like, oh yeah, that's better than what you had before.
Yeah.
So it's also nice to have someone like Lloyd in the room. I think as well, a lot of people, a comment I get all the time about my writing is it's like, oh, we knew it was a Kezia song straight away.
Yeah.
Because I do have
That's
a
good
style.
thing, yeah.
Yeah, and I think it's probably an old-fashioned way of writing that I just do it on my own. But then I also think like, it's my style and...
I don't think there's a right or wrong. Like, you can love co-write, you can love, like, my EP is a complete mix. So Woman I Am, I wrote with Laura Oakes. Love writing with Laura.
Incredible writer.
Amazing writer. And I had the idea for the chorus and I was like, this one's Laura. Messaged her, she was like, yeah, we can write it. So I wrote Woman I Am with Laura Oakes. I wrote Lead Me On my own.
Yeah.
I wrote Undercover on my own. I wrote Nothing But the Radio On with Jess Tristan, again, another incredible writer, a friend of ours. And then Drink This Wine, I didn't write at all. It was pitched to me from other writers who I admire. So also, yes, I write a lot of my music, but I'm equally not against recording something that I've had no involvement in if I can connect to the song.
Perfect is as an EP, those 5 songs flow seamlessly, and this is what we were talking about, you having to have a style and sing a song that even if someone else has written it, like I'm sure when you heard Drink This Wine, you were like, this is a song I would sing.
Yeah,
this is how I'd sing it, this is how I'd produce it. Which kind of leads us beautifully onto the production. So we've got the song, we've written it, potentially voice noted it.
Yeah.
I mean, God, my voice note collection is embarrassing.
I have on my to-do list, go through voice notes, because I found one the other day going through, I was like, it's a great song idea. I've got a full verse in there. I was like, I'll come back to that. But I never name them, so they're all like recording 956.
Yeah,
so like,
I've got voice notes which I think are great ideas and that I've maybe recorded in the middle of the night or when I'm maybe a little drunk.
Yeah.
And I'm quite good with naming things. I'm a bit like OCD, so I will name it like maybe upbeat festival idea. And I'll go, oh, what's that? And then you listen back and it's just me mumbling into the phone.
See, I'm really bad for recording, but while I'm doing something else, so you can hear me like, and then, and I want, and in the background, dryers on. I'm opening and closing fridge, putting in a slice of bread.
Well, I wrote Whiskey Drinking Woman whilst driving. Had to get Lloyd to hold the phone and I was playing the beat on the steering wheel. still
like Dolly with nails.
Still got the original voice note for it because I was like, I really want to keep that.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's writing comes like wherever and when.
Yeah.
But when you've got that song and you've got that idea, then it's like, okay, now we need to make this come alive.
Yeah. So what's your next step from that? What do you do once you're like, I want to make this song a single, I want to release it?
Well, I have a producer that I've worked with sort of pretty much since I was producing music. Because even though I was writing music and sort of knew that I wanted to make music, when I was really young, I used to record it on my dad's keyboard. So I'd find like the rhythm that sounded like it and I'd record it onto an 8-track tape machine. Then I'd record my vocal over it and that was it.
Yeah.
And then, obviously I was like, well, this isn't going to get me very far. But because I was doing so much cover work, I wasn't really producing music until I got to sort of 22, 23. And I actually went to a guy called Ben Haynes. He's got a studio near me in Derby. And I just wanted to do some high quality acoustic recordings of my songs to send to record labels, of course.
Hand out in Nashville.
And, but I was going to get my record deal. So when recorded these tracks, and again, never having recorded in that way, we did the guitar tracks first to a metronome, then I did the vocals. I just thought I'd go in and record it live. I went, no, we'll get some consistency, we'll get some levels, record it to a metronome. And then I went away thinking that was it. And he emailed me, bless him, and he was like, look, these songs are like just jumping out already, that they're really good quality. The song was Easy Come, Easy Go. That's what I'd written. And he was like, I hope you don't mind, but I've put some bass and some drums and like a little bit of like other stuff on. No charge, but just see what you think. And when I say I cried,
cried when I listened to my EP.
I
was drunk,
had
but-
never heard one of my songs sound
Yeah.
so produced and so good. And then that was it. It was like, right, this is how we do
Yeah.
it. And Ben's super talented. He plays bass, he plays drums, he plays guitar, and I play keys, I play acoustic. I like doing harmonies and doing my own backing vocals. So between the two of us for the last 10 years, that's how we've made music.
Oh, wow.
And even though I've worked with other producers and we get session players in, so
Yeah.
you're good, you know, other half Luke, he sessions guitars for me. But it was all very in-house. So the first thing I'll do is I will text Ben the idea. I'll usually do a rough, either literally just a voice note or a quick Logic program, sort of me and the guitar. And he'll say, okay, I can hear bass on this, or I can hear this little guitar solo, or what about a bit of harmonica? And we build it up together. I'll literally go to his studio and we sit and we say, right, this is what we want there, and we make it happen. And it's so exciting. That's what I love.
Seeing it.
That exciting bit where it all starts to grow.
Like, come together.
Where it starts to get less enjoyable is knowing when it's finished.
Yeah.
It's like they say, don't they, with an artist, knowing when a painting is done.
Yeah.
I'm always like, I don't really like my vocal. Should I re-record that? And he's like, you've done 9 vocal takes at this point. And Ben he laughs and he says to me, he says, you will never like the sound of your own voice.
Yeah.
And
I feel like that, yeah.
But I don't. I listen back and I go, oh, that is not a good take. And he'll go, are you kidding me? Like, it's a great take. And I'm like, no, do it again. Start again. And I've actually like been in tears in the studio. And Ben's like, what do you need from me? And I'm like, I just need to cry. Yeah. I need to cry
Just let it out.
because I'm just failing at being an artist right now. But it's all part of it, isn't it? But it's
Definitely.
hard.
Yeah.
You got to dig deep, and it's as well. We were talking about like feeling like you need to fit a bit of a mold. So, is it sounding too rocky, or is the intro too long? Is it sounding? Because with Spotify as well, like you got to get people's attention. If they're just like next, and you're thinking, does it grab their attention? Oh no, it doesn't kick in till the chorus, and it is exhausting. It's really hard sometimes to nail what you're happy with and what you think everyone else is going to be happy with. But because it's all in-house, we can have those battles together. We can go away, sleep on it, and then I can message him and go, do you know what? All that work we did yesterday, I don't like any of it. Take it out.
But he loves you. So if you are all interested in hearing what these very, very raw voice notes actually sound like, the songs in their infancy, then stick around to the end, because
We're going to give you a little treat, and we're going to do something we never usually do.
expose ourselves.
We're going to share some voice notes, so stick around to the end of this episode.
Yeah, I've had like loads of different experiences with producing music. So when I was young and I first started out, it was a similar thing. It was, a local studio. A friend of mine, his friend got me in, and they'd all come and play the instrument. We'd have like rehearsals where we'd figure out who were playing what, go in, we'd have a day doing all the drums for them all.
Yeah.
We'd have a day doing all the electric guitar, like all the acoustic, all that sort of stuff. And then it was produced and put together, sent off for mastering, which I'm sure we'll come to all that sort of stuff in a minute.
Yeah.
And then I've had experiences working where I've only known the producer, and then I've gone into the studio and he's already passed on the demos, like you say, just the acoustic guitar, vocal things to the band. They've turned up, figured out what they're going to play there and then, done it on the day, and then I've just gone in and done all the vocals the next day. Then I've had the experience where I've been in the studio, and we've done a lot. So a lot of mine now is like a lot of programmed drums for that sort of pop country sound. And then it might be just like, Luke will put some guitars down, and then Rob Gulson, who I've worked with quite a bit at the Banger Hanger, he'd like do like bass and piano and stuff like that. My most recent EP was the strangest experience, but actually I've found I really like working this way. So I basically send off acoustic. So like you were saying, you play to the metronome, like playing to click. I hate it. I'm really bad at it. I slip out of time all the time. Yeah. Weirdly, unless I turn the click sound into the sound of a kick drum, and then I can play to time.
Oh, really?
Someone told me that
potentially
trick.
more driving.
Yeah, someone said change the sound of the because it's like...
Yeah.
So change it into a kick drum sound, and then it keeps you in time, and it does work.
There you go.
There's a little tip for you. So I'd recorded them, sent them off to my producer, Matt, over in Nashville, because, expensive to be flying over there to record each week. Sent them over there, told him references, sent him what I wanted it to sound like, what things I liked, what things I don't like. He then works on it and sends it over like, this is what I've come up with, what do you think? I was like, yeah, love it.
Yeah.
So he put the music onto it. Then I sent it off to a girl called Ramira, who was a vocal producer in London who I'd chosen to work with. She like sorted out all the vocals, harmonies that she thought really needed to be in there, some ideas on changes to melody and stuff. Then I just booked 2 days in London and I went down and worked with Ramira for like 2 days, just recording all of the vocals, all the backing vocals. Again, I was very lucky. Laura Oakes came in and spent the day with us. She put some backing vocals on for me.
Amazing.
And then it went back to Matt, and then he put it all together, then sent it to a guy I chose to be my mixing engineer, which, because once obviously you get it recorded, you need it all mixing. Everything needs to sit together.
So that's a big part of the process, isn't it? You put what you call your tracks down, so your guitar, your vocals, your drums, your bass, but then it's got to be, it's like a cake. They're all the ingredients. Yeah. You got to mix it.
Yeah. So the mixing engineer then would send me back a mix, and then I might say, literally simple stuff in it, like,
it's tweaks, isn't it?
Can the bass be a little bit lower, or the BVs are a little bit too quiet in the chorus, can you raise them? And just little tiny stuff. Get that done. And then I sent it to the master engineer, and then it got sent back to me. So that was a process of my music was just being bounced around the world, really. But and people just adding a little bit into it until it came back to me.
What an amazing way to do it, though.
Yeah. But I enjoyed it. I loved going down and just having like a weekend doing vocals, and like it's really good. Like we got like Drink This Wine, and we're like, let's set it up. So we like dropped all the lights and like little moody studios. Like, God, I wish I'd have gone to the shop and got a bottle of wine to do this, but probably not good for the recording.
Hang on. You recorded Drink This Wine without a glass of wine?
With a brew. I know.
Listen.
I know. It is shameful. I am embarrassed.
What's funny is you talking about how you very first recorded music is something I really dream of doing. So I dream of getting like a studio for a couple of weeks and having all live players come in and literally being like, right, let's figure out how we want this to sound and tracking it live. I would love to do that one day. I've never really had the money to do that because it's expensive. You think if you're paying 4 players, you got to pay them a day rate and their lodgings and their food and expenses for like travel. And I would love to do that one day. That's like a real aspiration of mine. But the vibe that me and Ben have, it's like we do all that stuff. It's just between the two of us. And it means then that we have a little bit more money in the pot for things like if we want an external mixer, like with the Mess I Made EP, we sent that off to Nashville to be mixed and mastered. And the mastering is just the sprinkle on top, isn't it? So once you've got your mix track, you're happy with all the levels. What mastering does is it basically compresses it and puts it into a format which is perfect for streaming, for radio. There's no bits where, the drums are going to jump out or distort your radio. And it's all done on hertz and frequencies, all the technical stuff. But it ties everything up in a ribbon, doesn't it?
Let's have it a bit of honesty now. How many times have you got a master back and you've thought to yourself, I can't really tell the difference of it. It sounds, the only way I can say it is like a bit cleaner, like it's a bit louder, but I thought, I know it's essential and I know it if I put the mix out, I'd immediately pick up when hearing it on Spotify and be like, oh, that stands out a mile against a playlist. It's way quieter. It's not like, it doesn't sit in that playlist.
The mastering.
But sometimes I'm like, my ear doesn't know what I'm listening
for.
The
mastering is the equivalent of like having a rewire in a house. You spend thousands and thousands and then you walk in the room and it looks exactly the same. But all your wiring's updated. And that's the thing. It's the bit that nobody sees and nobody really cares about. But it just means that when your song comes up, even just like little things like if it comes up on a shuffle playlist, it will be the same volume.
You couldn't submit the mix as the final product, like you say, because then say you release a single, it's great news, which we'll circle back to, you get playlisted. Well, you wouldn't with this, but let's say you did in this world. Immediately, the listener, when yours comes on, they're going to be like, at which volume?
Yeah, turn
like,
it down.
What? Why is that so quiet? Why does that sound like it was done in a bedroom? Even though it's a great recording, it would sound so much different to everything else.
Mastering
on there.
is integral. It's and again, it's like how long is a piece of string? You can spend 50 quid on getting a track mastered. You can spend 500 quid on getting a track mastered. I approached Abbey Road for some mastering and very quickly realised they were out of my budget. But again, what a dream to one day have like an EP mastered at Abbey Road and stuff like that.
We're going to make it happen. How long have you known it's going to be recorded at Abbey Studios?
We're going to do it. You know what?
Sesh, absolutely.
I just think and these are like such well-known studios and well-known names. But the truth is when you're at, dare I say, at our level, we are funding it. There's no big label.
Oh God!
And we have to do everything we can in our power to make it sound high quality, but on a budget.
Yeah.
And we have to use everything in our little arsenal for free, which just leads us on to the dreaded social media.
Hi, I'm Jade Helliwell, and don't forget I am an independent artist, so you can check out all my music on Spotify, Apple, and everywhere where you can stream and download. Yeah, that is a minefield in itself.
It's a
social
whole
media.
thing. It's a whole vibe.
It's I think what's something that started out, the thing for us as well, when we started making music, social media didn't exist.
We are probably the last generation of artists that know life pre and post.
Yeah,
digital,
definitely.
social. Because we were the girls that were printing out our CDs and handing them out to people, handing out business cards at a gig.
Yeah.
And our business card didn't have our social media on it. It had our phone number and our email address.
That's it, yeah.
And it was like, can you believe we just gave our phone numbers to random men?
Call me, baby.
But yes, I mean, social media, I just love how much we all hate it, but that we're all slaves to it.
Yeah, it's awful. Like, I love it as a consumer. Do you know what I mean? I love to
I'll watch cat videos
through.
all day.
Like, I wake up, I'm an hour in bed every morning on TikTok, finding out how best to clean, my sink taps with a toothbrush.
Get rid of that lime scale.
What's the best way to do that? I'm figuring out, is it acceptable to use a pan lid in a wet cloth to clean your sofa? I'm there for it on TikTok. But I hate being like, creating the content, because it's hard to, one, be current, two, be yourself, because there's no else I can stand more than just being like false and acting a way that I wouldn't act in life, because then I think people see straight through that. You just got to be yourself on it.
You've got to.
But it's hard to like think, I have to create this content, because the reality is you're like, I've got to get my makeup on. I spend 99% of my time in joggers, the Girl Country hoodie,
hair on top of
hair
head.
in a bun, no makeup on, bit of Suda cream on my acne. Dotted around, do you know what I mean?
Life,
socks and sliders.
Yeah.
It's an effort to wash my hair, shave my legs, put on something, twist my chin.
But you know what the hardest thing is? Once you've done all that and you've spent 3 hours getting ready, and then another 2 hours filming, another couple of hours editing.
Yeah. Then you're scheduling them. So
then you're
a video
scheduling
a day at least going
and
out.
then you get 15 views.
50? You're doing better than me too.
I mean, I feel like we're both kind of talking about TikTok.
Yeah, definitely. TikTok is, because that's definitely a generation below us.
Yeah.
That I'm being told all the time, you need to be on TikTok. And it is a thing. How many documentaries do we watch at the minute, or like reality TV shows, and they're like, you need to be on TikTok. You need to have a good following on TikTok. No one's signing anyone unless you're on TikTok.
Labels are not even looking at your music, your streaming, your live repertoire. They
even
want to
like
know.
playlisting. They want to know, well, did it go viral on TikTok
How many
first?
followers have you got?
Yeah.
I had a really high profile meeting with a big label in Nashville, set up by a couple of people that had seen me do a little showcase. It was really exciting. These are big people.
Yeah.
And we went to a hotel in Nashville. I was super nervous, and I was like, just be yourself and sell. And they were like, these like two lads that were probably not a day over 25 turned up, sling back.
Yeah.
Baseball caps.
Just cool
guys. Just really, I'm expecting like businessmen in suits and ties and briefcases to turn up. No, really cool, like backward caps on. And they were like, we love your vibe, we love what you're about, and you got a great voice. But we really need to, like, we can't encourage the social growth enough. Just work on getting them views, like put some music out on TikTok. They were like, we as a label now will put a song out on TikTok. If it doesn't do well, we won't release that song. What? And I'm like, what a world. What a world to rely on social media to put out what you've invested, a song you've written and invested in. I left that meeting so, like, I was done.
Yeah.
I was over it. We were in Nashville. It was the last day we were in Nashville. I was like, get me on that plane. Get me home to Derby, where life is normal. And I can just write and sing my... Get me on that plane where I can just get home, back to my little Derby, my little safe space, and just write and do what I need to. Because I was like, this industry is going to swallow me whole.
Yeah.
And it feels very overwhelming. But then I feel like we're still of that generation where we're perhaps like, Facebook is a really great platform for us.
Yeah, and I had, so I mentioned in one of the other episodes that the viral video, that made my Facebook shoot up.
Yeah.
So my following on Facebook is really big, but not everyone on there actually interacts with what I'm doing. Do you know what I mean? A lot of people don't see my posts. It's the weird algorithm thing.
Well, that happened to me on TikTok.
Yeah.
Because after having taken part in a BBC TV show last year called I Can See Your Voice, they allowed me to share the footage of the live screening. Shared it, just put like a caption up, what, you know, did they think I could sing or not? 3.2 million views. I got like 30,000 followers overnight and I was like, yes, she's cracked it.
Done it.
Put up a singing video the next day, 14 views. I thought, give me a break. Obviously, the big shiny BBC video got the traction, got the following. And I, you know, me singing in my bedroom. I mean, it's amazing. You look at people like Sam Ryder and you think, oh, well, why isn't it working for me?
Yeah.
I just think some get through the net.
Yeah.
Some do get through the net.
It's hard to crack, like, you know, the right hashtags, the right time to post, the amount of times you should be posting.
Twice a day.
Do you need the same background in every video?
Twice a day you got to post to beat the algorithm.
I ain't got time.
Can you imagine having
a food shop to do? My
face a
kitchen
slap.
needs cleaning. I have to get washing online. You know what I mean? I have to go
what we
see my
need to
mates'
do,
pajamas.
We need to like do our makeup and film like 20 videos.
Well, I got into a thing earlier this year. I was like, right, every Wednesday, I'm going to get up, get dolled up, lock myself in the office, record like the week's worth of videos, edit them, put them on the TikTok, get them in my drafts, and every morning I wake up and post. Worked for about 2 weeks, and then life got in the way. I was like, I ain't got a full day to record and do this shit.
And you know what's really hard? Like, we as artists, and I know a lot of independent artists, we push the live agenda so hard. And this is why the pandemic was so tough, and we're going to touch on that in a second. But we want people to buy tickets and come and see us live.
Yeah.
So you feel like you're pimping yourself out, just giving people stuff for free that they're not appreciated.
Yeah.
And again, it's like, God forbid we could do an original song. No, always a cover of Aretha Franklin, cover of the Cranberries, you know, hoping that some Cranberries fans might pitch on, or some Aretha fans.
Yeah.
But it is, I feel like it's selling my soul to the devil.
Yeah.
It is. I would rather go to a gig where there's 50 people that have bought tickets that are going to enjoy the gig and come back to another show, then put a video up that 50 people might view in the hope that they give me a like.
You get one comment and it's someone just putting shit. Why is your voice doing that wobbly thing?
Honestly, I'm going to say I hate social media.
Ooh,
with one exception.
One.
Live streaming.
Live streaming.
What a world.
Tapped into that shit, didn't we, in lockdown?
We had to. Let's talk about it. March 23rd, Boris Johnson.
March 23rd. Well, if you remember, slightly before, so we were due to play Saltburn by the Sea.
Yes.
Little gig we had going
Little
on.
writers' round.
Little writers' round. Looking forward to it. We're all up country on the Clyde. March 10th around that weekend.
Yeah.
And gig gets
COVID on the
cancelled.
Clyde, as it got renamed.
Yeah, COVID on the Clyde. Everyone got that. And it was like constant gig cancelled, gig cancelled, gig. We're like, bloody hell, everything's getting cancelled. That got cancelled. So I was like, no. What we do, I'll come to you. We'll live stream instead. You were like, yeah, we'll set up cameras, we'll have a drink, we'll name it like lockdown session or something, didn't we? The Dream Team quarantine stream or something. We called it.
Well, it was all very new and exciting.
Yeah. We were like, ooh.
I'd never done a live stream.
20 people.
I think I'd gone live once on New Year's Eve when I filmed the bagpipes. So the only time I'd ever gone live.
I've done quite a few live streams. When I had that viral video, I did a live stream party and just sat on my cousin's house, invited all my friends and family around, set up a camera, took requests, like
I'd
just
never done
played all night. I did another one when I think a song went number 1. And then I'd done a couple, literally like 20 minutes. I'm going to go live tonight, play my new single for you.
Yeah.
Odd thing, but I hadn't done it to that extent. And then obviously,
so the plan was to just do it together.
Bojo shut us down.
Well, what night? Was it scheduled for the Friday?
It was the Thursday.
So the Thursday was when we were going to go live.
Yeah.
Boris Johnson came on our screens Monday the 23rd and said, you must stay at home. So we're like, well, that scuppered our plans. Yeah. So we had a little chat off sort of away and said, well, I'll tell you what, you take the Thursday, I'll do the Friday. And we'll just both do a separate one. And how long did that last?
Me and Luke, I know we did 63 weeks. I think you were about the same.
Well, we did 59. But we had a couple of weeks off when we had, the
It's
small
about the same
periods
time
of
we both
time when you
stopped.
could go on holiday or go out, and we were like, we took full advantage of that.
We had, it was intense. It was so good though. Like you say, we kind of started thinking, we'll do this one-off stream. A few weeks, we're back to it.
Yeah.
But then we ended the stream like, do you want us to do it again next week? Yeah, we'll do it again next week.
Yeah.
And then it was just, that was it. We knew Thursday, 7:00, I were live. Friday, 8:00.
Honestly, I tuned in. I think I saw almost everyone, but it was the routine. It was the fact that I knew on a Thursday at 7 p.m. I got my dinner on me knee, I got my glass of wine poured.
Yeah.
This is happening. And I felt like, because I couldn't physically come and see my friends, that was my hour with my mates. And even though we had like Zoom meetups, like everyone did, kitchen parties and all this, it was so lovely to have some live music of some capacity.
And it feel like a gig because you could have the comments up so you could see what people were saying.
The comments were just so rapid, and you felt like you were meeting up with
you
people.
actually see it, you're getting to know people, and you still had that element of performing, because I knew, like you say, I knew every Thursday I'd wake up, I'd go through requests, I'd be checking them in throughout the week.
Yeah.
I'd go through them, right, what do we need to learn? Right, what time do I need to eat tea? What time do I need to set? What am I going to wear tonight? Looking through wardrobe.
But it's the whole week, isn't it? Learning the songs.
And then even the Friday would be
requests.
sent thanking tippers, collecting requests again, sending Luke his tips. And because literally it was all we could do, literally going through my tips like, right, what can we have this week? And if we had great tips, I'd be like, Luke, I swear to God, I can have a bottle of gin this week. And I made it about, I'm in Tesco's with a bottle of rhubarb gin, because literally we say it and I think people are like, oh yeah, and you kept us good, but I think people, I don't know if they'll ever understand how thankful we are for them for watching, because they genuinely, that was a difference between me still having some music to live for every week.
Oh, absolutely.
And being creative, and me having to say, I best go work at Tesco's.
Go and do a bit of Sainsbury's.
No disrespect to people who did do that. Like, obviously, we all had to do what we had to do.
Everyone had to do that,
but we were incredibly blessed to not have to do that, purely because every week people tuned in and were extremely generous.
You could
with
do
the
a show.
tips.
Yeah. And I think as well, just being able to just do a gig.
Yeah, like mentally it was.
Oh, even though it was on our
massive.
living room.
Yeah.
On our living room sofa or, in your mum and dad's living room as it was. But I looked forward to my Friday night show like any other gig.
Same.
And what was so amazing through that time is that now we've come out and we're very much back into a live world. Mm-hmm. They've all stuck with me.
Yeah.
Call them the Friday night crew. You had the Jade Brigade, and you see them, they're all in the t-shirts, because we did like merch through lockdown and stuff.
Like, even that was incredible. We'd be like, oh, how else can we make some money? What about if we did a batch t-shirt? So we'd save some tips, run like a special edition, like we had like the lockdown special t-shirts and stuff. And then we'd mention it on live stream. By the time we come off, sold out.
Yeah.
Mind blowing. And
now
again,
people
I'll
wear
never
them to gigs.
Now, it's amazing. And sometimes I'll see like newer fans question people for like, where did you? I've never seen that t-shirt. Like, this was a lockdown
You
special.
actually
They only did one run of this.
And this is the thing. And I think what's amazing is, even though the world is opening up again, and you can say, look, we're living in a world where everything's digital, everything's on your phone, and you can't beat live music. We both recently just did a live stream to celebrate 3 years since our first one, and even though they could have gone to the pub, they could have gone to a gig, they stayed at home and watched us on their phones and on their tablets and on their televisions to be part of that movement. And I do think there is room for digital gigging and on online videos. But you can't beat a live gig, can
you? The energy in the room, the room
sweaty
buzzing,
room,
waiting to go on.
I love it.
Can hear people bustling to get forward, get a good spot,
and that's
at the bar.
And
Shot
you know
in 10,
what?
get a drink now. Don't want to be queuing when she's playing.
That's why I'll never be a TikTok star. I will never be able to sing into my phone like I sing to a room full of sweaty people.
But the flip side of that is there's a whole new generation, which again I'm sure we'll touch on this at some point later on this season, of people on TikTok now who've never actually played the live gig. So they're the flip side. They've never experienced what it is to put a gig together.
They're in for a bloody shock when they turn up to a gig and have to get changed in the disabled toilet.
When the roof's leaking on them.
That's an episode in itself.
Isn't it?
But yeah, once again, thank you so much for listening to our ramblings and musings.
Absolutely. And we hope we've given you a little bit of an insight into what actually goes on in creating music. And we'll see you all next week for another episode of
Do you know any Oasis? Thank you so much for listening.
If you have enjoyed this episode, please don't forget to hit subscribe and follow us on social media.
Hi, it's Kezia Gill here. Thank you so much for sticking around until the end to hear our rusty old voice notes.
So I have got a voice note from my song Lead Me On, which if you hear it and you know the song, you will see that there are some differences in the melody, but this is literally the initial idea. There's a lot of mumbling going on, but this is like the bones of a song, and I just think it's really cool to be able to share with you how a song really does start, and then you guys obviously know how it ends up, so enjoy!
July, the air was warm that night. I saw you take me in, felt your eyes caress my skin. I knew I was gonna fall for you. I didn't try to deny it, there was no point trying to fight it. But soon I started realizing you were only gonna play a game. And soon I started realizing you were gonna make me go insane. And then I started realizing you were always gonna lead the way. I could see what was going on. Go ahead and lead me on to the next one, on to the place I'm meant to be, to the guy who's gonna love me for just being me. Don't apologize, don't be listen to your lies. Boy, you played this whole thing wrong, so go and lead me on. Go and lead me on.
So I talked about this song and how the idea came to me, and I was kind of banging on the steering wheel. It actually started as quite a rockabilly idea, but I wasn't driving in this voice note. This is the one I recorded when I got home, but this is one of the very first ideas that I had for Whiskey Drinking Woman.
Pour me a strong one, and I'll drink it down. I earn my own money, and I'll buy the next round. You might think it's strange, I don't drink it straight. I like it with a dash, and there's nothing wrong with that. So pour me a strong one, oh, for this whiskey drinking woman. I've been working hard I've been working way too hard for far too long.
Hi, I'm Kezia Gill.
And I'm Jade Helliwell.
And don't forget, we are both independent artists.
So you can find all of our music on all major platforms.